Mad love and shout out to all the subscribers to the Jab Jab Talk Nation, to this channel. I appreciate you so much. We got 12 whole subscribers, and this is a journey, y'all. This is us sharing our passion for boxing. You came to the right spot. Listen, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my goal for this YouTube channel and how you can be a part of this journey to our road to 100 subs. All right, so let's get to 100 subs by the end of April. Is that too much to ask for? Let me know. Let me know if that's too much to ask for. Listen, I think we could do it. 100 subs. I see the light. I see it. I think we could do it. We got a whole month to make it happen. So if you subscribe, thank you for joining the tribe, being a part of the Boxing Vibe. And of course, I'm here and I'm dedicated to just producing content that's related to boxing, all things boxing. And yeah, thank you for being a part of this. Now, in this video, I want to talk to you about the title. It's called, Will We See Canelo Vs Benavidez in 2023? Now, I'm going to share my thoughts about this potential matchup. And, you know, after we saw this dominant performance by David, the Mexican monster, Benavidez against Plant this past weekend, you know, I've been watching all the videos, and it sounds like, you know, thank God that Caleb Plant is doing well and he's recovering. And of course, you know, I've been watching all the videos of just post fight with David Benavidez and his old camp. And, you know, some people may argue and debate that it wasn't a dominant performance, but, you know, I feel like it was a dominant performance by Benavidez. Surely it merits bigger and better fights with big champions like Canelo Alvarez, absolutely. And, you know, I felt like he did a great job. I shared my post thoughts about Benavidez and where he's going next. And, you know, let's talk about Canelo, because, you know, it really comes down to this big talk on whether or not we as boxing fans are going to see a Canelo versus Benavidez fight. And as we all know, Canelo will be facing Ryder on May 6th in Mexico. That is his next fight. Benavidez, I feel like he's going to be waiting, trying to see where he goes next. Obviously, there's David Morrell, there's Charlo, which I don't see happening anytime soon. And, you know, there's some potential fights that David Benavidez can take to stay active, you know, in the buildup of Canelo. Now, here's something that we just saw recently. I've been watching, you know, Canelo had a open camp training session in San Diego where he trains at. And I was watching some of the videos. I'm not sure if you guys caught some of the videos and some of the interviews, but I've been watching them on YouTube. And it looks like there is a potential to see a Canelo Benavidez fight. I mean, we're seeing Canelo openly say, you know, it was a great fight, great performance by Benavidez, and he's open for it. He says he's looking to make the big fights happen. Now, he's been very clear on his goal, his objective to fight Bivol in September. So if all goes well against Ryder, which I do believe that he will win the fight against Ryder, he will be looking at Bivol for his next matchup in September. Now, I did also watch another interview with his trainer, Eddie Reynoso, about you know, his thoughts on Benavidez. And he also said, hey, Benavidez looked great. We feel like there is definitely some potential, and he could have imposed a challenge with Canelo. So why not bring on the fight? So he's also open towards the Benavidez and Canelo fight. Now, he's also looking at Bivol for the next fight. But he also did say in one interview in Spanish that if negotiations fall through, that could be the next fight that we see in September. Okay, so it does look like we do have good enough reason to believe that that could happen sooner than later. Now, the question is, does it happen in 2023? I think it's all going to go down to whether or not he takes the fight with Bivol in September. But I do see Canelo saying yes to the Benavidez fight. Why? Well, because again, he's all about the legacy, and I know he's going after the belts. But here's the thing about Canelo. Canelo is one of those champions that he will take on big fights. He's taken on Ryder, and some may call it a tune-up fight. We know that he's coming off a hand injury, and this is going to be a great fight in Mexico against a competitive fighter. I haven't really watched too much tape on Ryder to really make my assessment, but from what I've seen, glimpse of it, I mean, he's a flashy fighter, he's tough, he's been in with some big fights, but I think it'll be a good competitive fight. I think it'll be interesting. It's definitely a good fight as Canelo kind of gets back into the ring post, hand injury and kind of getting back into the mix of everything. So I think it's going to be a really interesting fight to see that. Now, that being said, I do feel like, Canelo will look at Benavidez as a potential challenge, and Canelo did say in this interview, he's like, hey, listen, I'm open to all the big challenges. Now, let me go ahead and I'm going to go on my little soapbox a bit and talk about Canelo Alvarez and how I feel about Canelo, because he gets a lot of hate. I mean, he does get a lot of hate. He gets a lot of criticism, but I'm here to vouch for Canelo, like to really just state facts, right? Despite of what some of the Canelo haters may think about Canelo Alvarez taking on the fights and where he's going, the truth is that Canelo in 2021 fought 4 times. All right? Let me repeat that. He fought 4 times. Not just contenders, not just like below, within the top 10. He fought champions, okay? He fought champions, and he was very clear about his objective to be able to become undisputed at 168, which he accomplished. And he was very, very aggressive about it and was very open about where he was going, okay? After that, he went and fought, moved up weight to 175 to challenge one of the top dogs at 175, Demetrius Bivol. Tough competitor, and we know how that panned out, right? And we can argue that, maybe, that Canelo wasn't, and it's proven there that he wasn't at 100% when he fought against Bivol, right? He had a hand injury, which I think was happened during the plant fight. So, and then he goes to 175 and fights Bivol. And, it was definitely one-sided. It wasn't the Canelo that we were used to seeing, not that 2021 Canelo. And so he lost the fight. And then he goes back and then fights and does a trilogy against Triple G, another tough competitor, another tough fight, despite of what people may think, oh, Triple G is washed up. Listen, Triple G is still a problem for anybody in 160 and even 168. I think he's problems, okay? He does have some mileage in him. He's been through wars, but he's not that old. I mean, he's older, and of course, he's changed. I mean, he's been with some wars with Canelo, but, so has Canelo, right? But Triple G, they were talking about Jaime Munguia fighting Triple G. I mean, bring Munguia on. I think all day Triple G wins that fight easily. So, I think that even at this stage, he's still a problem. So all that to be said that he goes from Bivol and then fights Triple G, right? And then, that fight wasn't quite convincing. I mean, Triple G was in survival mode. You definitely need a dance partner to be able to have a really good competitive fight, to really see where you're at. And as boxing fans, we want to see, a good matchup. And it felt like Triple G just did enough to, he just survived and just was hanging around and made it difficult for Canelo. Although everybody wanted to see the knockout, everybody saw Canelo knocking him out early. That didn't happen. I thought we were going to get a late stoppage. That didn't happen. But he did get a unanimous decision, rightfully so. And he won the fight. Right? But still, people weren't convinced, right? Boxing fans, critics weren't really convinced about his performance. So now he takes the layoff, and now he's recovering and just gets the surgery and whatnot. So I think this next fight, I think it's going to tell a lot about where we see the new Canelo. I know he says, he's mentioned this in a few interviews, that he is, refreshed, he's motivated, and he's ready to get back in the ring and dedicate 100%. Because, I mean, let's face it. I mean, when I saw even against after the plant, not to say that he was distracted by golf, but we started seeing a lot more video footage of him playing golf and just having a good time, starting businesses. I mean, Canelo is like he's a boxer, but you can tell he's a very entrepreneurial-minded individual, which, you know, my hat's off to Canelo. I mean, much respect. He's getting it, you know. He's definitely taking care and taking advantage of all the opportunities he's getting. And, you know, I have a lot of respect for Canelo Alvarez, you know, on many levels. And again, the fact that he is saying, okay, great performance by Benavidez, and he's not scared. Like, he is not scared. He even said in an interview, like, he's a monster, but so did everybody say that about Triple G. Everybody said that Triple G was the monster. He was the boogeyman. You know, nobody wanted to face him because he was dominating his opponent. And here comes Canelo and stands toe-to-toe. Regardless of whether you think he won the first fight or whatever, he couldn't knock out Canelo. You know, it was very like they were on that level. But everybody was fearing Triple G's power, and Canelo like took it like a champ and was just like walked right through it, right? We all know what happened in the second fight and then the third fight. So Canelo is fearless, you know, so he's fought monsters before. So I think he's up for the challenge. He's a type of champion, that throwback champion that fights all the top dogs, right? Where all the focus and hate goes on Canelo. At the end of the day, Canelo is one of the most active champions in boxing, right? Again, 4 champions in 11 months, goes up weight, Bivol, back to Triple G. Who does that? Charlo doesn't do that, okay? Andrade doesn't do that. Munguia doesn't do that. None of the champions in any division does what Canelo has been doing up to this point. Facts. Okay, we can have a healthy debate. I'm pretty sure I haven't got any haters in the YouTube channel, but if you disagree with me, I'll be more than willing to have a healthy debate. And by the way, listen, this YouTube channel, unfortunately, when I go to sometimes other boxing YouTube channels, I'm going to say this. There's a lot of people who get really mean and get really ignorant and disrespectful, bring in race. It has nothing to do that, all right? This YouTube channel is all love, all boxing, right? If we agree to disagree, so be it. You can leave a comment. I'll get in there and I'll comment back. But at the end of the day, let's talk about facts right here. And Canelo has fought 4 champions in 11 months in 2021. Went to Bivol, Triple G, and now he's fighting Ryder. And then now he wants Bivol in September. I mean, look, he makes it very clear about what he's about to do, his goals, and he goes for that. It's just like there's no smoke and mirrors with Canelo. Like, he's very straight up, you know, and that's the reason why I respect Canelo, right? So everybody's focused on Canelo and what he's going to do, but nobody's active. I think the only active fighter that I have a lot of respect for is Gervonta Davis. That brother's active. Like, he is fighting champions, and he's active, and that's why I have a lot of respect for him. But really, it's Canelo and Gervonta Davis. I mean, that's it. I mean, you don't see Lomachenko, which, by the way, I think they had the press conference today. Haney, hello, Crawford. When was the last time Crawford fought? Go ahead, I'll wait. I mean, Crawford, Spence. So it's really unfortunate to be able to see all these champions get into the politics, put their own red tape, make it difficult to accept challenges, right? And then they blame it on promoters and all that. I know, guys, I know that there's a lot of politics. I know there's a lot of promotional red tape. There's a lot of that, but there's no excuse. They should at least be active in fighting competitive fights. None of them are doing it. I'm sorry, none of them. Gervonta Davis and Canelo Alvarez. That's it. I don't see any other fighter as active as they are. Okay, so I digress. All right. Let me talk. What were we talking about? Okay, yeah. So anyhow, going back to Canelo Alvarez, here's another thing. Side note. I was thinking about this. One of the things that I respect about Benavidez is that when they were asking Benavidez early on, even pre-plant, right? Last year, they were asking him about, you know, Canelo, is Canelo avoiding you? And when's the next Canelo fight? Benavidez, and this is the reason I respect the man, he was like, everybody's focused on Canelo, but nobody's fighting each other. You know, and Benavidez has been open. Like he called out when Charlo was kind of wanting that smoke with Benavidez. Benavidez was like, let's make the fight happen. What happened? Charlo gone, right? Where's Charlo at? Okay, but Benavidez continued fighting. All right, so Benavidez is constantly looking at, you know, the champions, looking at competitive fights, but he's not looking at he's not worried about what Canelo's doing. You know, it goes back to, you know, do your best, forget about the rest. He's not worried about that. He says, while all these fighters are pointing fingers at Canelo, I'm going to just do me and continue fighting. And then when I win the fights, I will get the attention of Canelo, and that would happen when the time is right. It's 2023. He just dominated Plant. Yes, I will say he dominated Plant. And now people are calling for it. So will we see Canelo versus Benavidez in May? Boxing fans, Jab Jab Nation, I think there's a big chance that we may see the fight. And as a fan, I am really excited about the fight. The question is, who do I believe will win the fight? That is the question. Somebody in the comment section, somebody in the comments, I think in one of the videos, the last video that I posted, asked me what I thought. So here it is. I forgot your name, my man, so I need to go and find you. But this is basically, you're asking for my thoughts, and here it is. I think it all depends on what we see out of Canelo versus Ryder, right? He's recovering, or suppose he's recovered. He's at 100%. He said he's dedicated. He's back. He has that hunger back. We don't know that. Okay, so we'll see what happens against Ryder. And I feel like I'll be able to, and we'll be able to figure out where he's at in regards to the competitiveness against a hungry, motivated, monstrous power puncher like Benavidez. You know, I do feel like if we see the Canelo that we saw against Bivol, Benavidez all day. I think Benavidez wins the fight. And the reason why is because when Benavidez lets his hands go and he's throwing at volume, that's going to be some problems for Canelo. And we saw that against Bivol. You saw whenever Bivol was unleashing, Canelo was kind of froze up and didn't know what to do. And he was taking the shots. Some of those shots weren't landing clean, but he was taking some shots. I feel like if he fought like that with Benavidez, it could be very problematic for Canelo Alvarez. I think he can get in serious trouble. And we saw what Benavidez did with the uppercuts, and he's a skillful fighter. Now, that being said, I'm like 50-50. I don't know, you let me know. But Benavidez, if he's at top of his game and he's hungry, and Canelo is maybe at 80%, I do swing towards Benavidez just because of his boxing abilities, of his hunger, of his punching power. He's bigger. I think he will impose that will with Canelo, and he'll be right there in front of Canelo. And I think that he has that chip on his shoulder. And when you have that chip on your shoulder, you become a dangerous man, because especially in the ring, because you know, it's like that eye of the tiger, right? You're ready and you have something to prove. And I think that could be the X factor. That could be the edge to victory. Now, when you look at Canelo Alvarez, his counter punching, his movements, when he's at 100%, he's practically unbeatable. He's a tough fighter to beat. You have to have some really remarkable, excellent, exceptional, you name it, boxing skills, good lateral movement, good feet to really, really outbox Canelo Alvarez. But to get into a very strategic, counter punching, inside type of fight, it's kind of tough to beat Canelo when he's on top of his game, right? That 2021 Canelo was next level. So anyhow, all that to be said, it's going to be interesting. I don't know. Maybe after the Canelo Ryder fight, I'll be able to give you a better assessment. I do feel it's a competitive fight. I don't see Canelo dodging that fight. I think the fans are calling it. Media is constantly asking Canelo, when are we going to see Benavidez and you fight? Excuse me. And Canelo's open. Canelo was like, look, I'm open for big challenges. And he knows that those big challenges are part of what's building his legacy, right? I mean, there's Bivol, but if Bivol fights Better Beef, which that might be where he's trying to go with the undisputed, he has his own goals. But if I'm thinking that Bivol, there's a possibility it could fall through the cracks because Bivol may be asking for a lot more, right? He's the A side for the rematch, rightfully so. And I feel like it could get a little bit, that negotiation is going to be interesting because if it falls through the cracks, I do see Canelo saying, well, Eddie Hearn's going to be like, well, we have Benavidez where we can make a lot of money. The fans want it. It would sell out. And, you know, if you beat this young, hungry lion, that's adding another big stripe, you know, to your legacy. And I think that could be something that Canelo is open for challenges. And again, both Eddie and Canelo in recent interviews are saying they're open for it. They got their objective. You got to respect that. But if it does not happen, do I believe it happens in 2023? I think it's a 50-50 chance. I think we do see it. I think we do see it. So we'll see what happens. And for whatever reason, Canelo fights Bivol in May. I'm not, you know, as boxing fans, I'm not really, personally, I'm not excited about that fight. But I guess what does excite me about it is that I would love to see 100% Canelo fight a Bivol. And here's another thing I respect about Canelo. Let me throw this in there. Canelo also said that I don't want to fight him at 168. I want to fight him at 175. Like, matter of respect. He knows that he lost at 175. And he said, because if I go and beat him at 168, the critics are going to come after me and say, well, you fought him in a different way, yada, yada, yada. So, again, respect. He says he's willing to fight him again, rematch at 175. He wants to beat him at 175 for the potential of getting a championship there. Bivol's a beast. I think it's going to be another competitive fight. But Canelo is up for the challenge, all right? Versus, I'm going to name, you know, the Charlos and the Andrades and all the other Famunguias, and even Triple G has been kind of quiet, and all the so-called fighters are not there, you know? That's why I respect, like, Plant. Plant took on some fights, right? He got, you know, Canelo, Jarrell, and then he went into Benavidez. Like, respect. Like, let's get these champions to get active again. Why is nobody active? You know what I mean? Like, Davis is fighting Ryan. Respect. Like, he's active. So, which, by the way, I'm gonna be doing a review, a full assessment on that Davis Ryan Garcia fight, because that's gonna be fireworks. I'm really, really excited about that one. So anyhow, okay, so I can go on and on and on. Listen, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section down below, do you feel that we will see Canelo versus Benavidez in September? If so, who do you think wins that fight and why? So leave it in the comment section down below. And also, lastly, y'all, hashtag road to 100 subs. Our goal is to get to 100 subs by the end of April. I think we can do it once again. I mentioned this. If we do, check this out. I will print out some Jab Jab Talk t-shirts and we'll do a fun giveaway. How does that sound? Is that cool? Like, you want to do that? So you'll get something. So we'll do like a video where it's, we'll do like a comment contest, and I'll do one video, and then from there I'll pick out some random people, and then we'll send some free t-shirts to you. All right, courtesy of Jab Jab Talk, for supporting the YouTube channel, for just being a part of this community. All right, so that's that. I think that's it. I just had a couple notes here that I want to talk about. Again, I just want to talk about Benavidez, Canelo, because everybody is talking about Benavidez and Canelo. But I wanted this to be more about what is Canelo going to be doing leading up to this May 6th fight. Big talk about Benavidez. So I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts about that, and who, as of right now, think will win the fight. It's a 50-50 fight, but I think Canelo at 100%, I think he's on a different level. And he actually said something on one of the videos. They asked him, he's like, well, they call him the Mexican monster, but they say that until they fight me. But when they fight me, it's a whole different story. I love that confidence by Canelo. So I think that we'll, at 100%, I think Canelo beats Benavidez. But respect to Benavidez, because Benavidez is like, I'm game. Let's go. Bring on the challenge. I feel like this is my time. I want to fight the best, and it's Canelo Alvarez. So salute to both of the warriors, because they're both Mexican monsters, if you want to put it that way. They're both top dogs that are willing to fight each other. So that's that. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I feel like we got a lot. I was trying to do this live, but it did not work. I was having some technical issues, so I decided to go ahead and do a pre-recorded video. So let me know what you thought about it. Comment, share. Let's get to 100 subs. And then let me know also in the comment section, aside from the question, what video do you want me to cover? Like, is there another fight that you want me to cover? Of course, the Ryan Garcia Davis fight is coming up, but there's some really good fights. You know, Lomachenko, Haney, I may do that one. So boxing right now is hot. There's a lot of really good fights happening soon. So let me know if there's anything you want me to cover, or if you want me to kind of share my opinion on. I would be more than happy to shoot that video and give you a shout out. And hopefully we can do some live stream. I'm gonna get the tech thing taken care of, and we'll be doing some live streaming as well, so we can all vibe together. All right, y'all. Jab Jab Talk Nation. Ozil signing off. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. One love.